Howdy y'all, it's Angela. This is Mother Issues, and the issue today is, let's call it due diligence. Let's call it gullibility. Call it any of those things, because they all sort of go together for this topic. And what I'm going to focus on is my gullibility and my lack of due diligence. And what I mean by that is 2016, as I mentioned in my first video, I called Donald Trump Caligula. While I am actually kind of proud of the name, I am actually a little bit ashamed of my lack of due diligence. I'm ashamed of myself because I bought into the media lies about Donald Trump. It was in part because I was a Ted Cruz supporter and fan. Don't get me wrong, I still am. I don't think Ted Cruz has quite the game of Donald Trump, Twitter game. But back then, I likened, and I still kind of do, I likened the campaign between Ted Cruz and Donald Trump to that of John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was this firebrand. He came out of nowhere. He was a populist. The people loved him. John Quincy Adams, who, by the way, Ted Cruz, I am not suggesting you are as bland and dry as John Quincy Adams. However, you are a statesman and have the constitutional understanding on par with former President Adams. So that was sort of how I saw everything through the prism of being a Ted Cruz supporter. That being said, I also fell for the snippets, what they're doing right now to the president in terms of the coronavirus. Excuse me, I'm not allowed to say that. In terms of the virus time, toilet paper pandemic. That's what they're doing. They're editing his comments. They're taking things out of context. They're fooling the American people who aren't doing their due diligence, just as I didn't. Granted, I've obviously come to see the orange light and realized that Donald Trump is not only the best president of my lifetime, God bless you, Ronald Reagan, but you set the standard, and Uncle Donnie has taken the helm and run with it. God bless both men. It all started for me. Let me go back a little bit. I watched snippets of Donald Trump supposedly picking on a disabled New York Times reporter, and this bothered me, especially somebody with a disability. It's not the same. I have a genetic blood disorder. My daughter and I both have. It's called hereditary angioedema. So that bothered me. It bothered me. Some of the comments and some of the attacks to other candidates. I did not like him attacking Dr. Carson. I got upset about how angry and defensive he was with Megyn Kelly. However, I did not get particularly offended by the comments about his, shall we say, mating rituals. That didn't offend me so much because, quite frankly, guys are gross. I'm not going to lie. Guys, you know it, you're gross. Such comments are not uncommon. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm in with rural men and they're not exactly watching their words as much. That's how I grew up, so it doesn't really bother me. What really, really did bother me and still does to this day was his attacks on Heidi Cruz. That was really inappropriate to me. She was a spouse. She didn't deserve that. It was highly unacceptable, and I'm still bothered by it even now. I can only imagine that they've buried the hatchet since then. And, Ted Cruz is obviously a very ardent Trump supporter at this point. And that actually brings me to what started opening my eyes about Donald Trump. It was an episode of Mr. Robot, and that's actually, I'm rewatching because, virus time, so I'm up there watching all of the TV that I hadn't gotten to see the last episodes or last seasons of, and I haven't watched the last season of Mr. Robot, and it got me thinking about earlier in the season. Angela was talking to Terry Colby. For those of you who don't watch the show, I apologize if this is a spoiler, but it's been years, so come on. But Terry Colby from E Corp, and she's suing them. He's fine with it. Basically, he goes along but then he offers her. Actually, he's playing her and he's acting like he's against it. And she plays her hand, and she doesn't succeed with the hand that she's trying to play with Terry Colby, who's the president of E Corp at that point. This is a lot of detail nobody's going to care about. One of the main characters, Angela, is suing Evil Corp, a giant and multinational conglomerate. And the president of E Corp comes to see her after a series of, events that aren't really worth getting into. He offers her a job. She plays a hand and she fails. She doesn't win. But he kind of admires her And he offers her a job. Comes to her house later and offers her a job. And she said, wait a minute, I'm suing you. This is like the biggest lawsuit ever, you know, blah, blah, blah. Don't you have a grudge? And he kind of looks at her funny and like he's, And he said, it's business. Grudges aren't really a thing. And that got me thinking. Donald Trump's approach to these people isn't that of political opponents and whatnot, and the media and so on, isn't that of a politician. He's not trying to score points. He's a businessman. So he's going at them. He's playing hardball. It's always hardball. So he's going at them. And he doesn't expect grudges to be held, but he clearly didn't realize that Washington, D.C. is really all about grudges, especially if you can keep your base riled up. So that's when it hit me. Oh my God, our president is the best. I don't know if anybody else can really sort of make the connection that I am right now. He does want to make deals. Everything outside the boardroom, everything outside the negotiation table is hardball. Once you get inside, you make the best deals. Get it? Does that make sense? So he's playing hardball on the outside with these people. He's poking them, kind of like, the catcher behind the batter, and just telling him he can't hit, batter can't bat, batter can't bat, batter can't bat. That's what Donald Trump is doing outside the negotiation room. Once he goes inside, he expects all that stuff, no grudges, he expects all that stuff to go away. And we're good to go. We're going to get down to doing the work of the people and make the best deal possible. He wants everybody to walk away from the table happy, because that way, as in a capitalist world, everybody's happy means everybody's profitable, everybody's successful. Somebody walks away with everything. You may not always get what you want, but you will get something. You will be happy when you walk away. That's what Donald Trump anticipated Washington to be like. Washington's anticipating a politician. They're two different worlds meeting, and it's fascinating to watch. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm gushing a little bit. It was such a come to Jesus moment for me. Oh my God, I get Donald Trump. It's business. Grudges aren't really a thing. Anyways, I'm Angela. That was my issue today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe it makes you think about something. I bring this up because people aren't doing their due diligence, and I really hope they will. And maybe you too, if you're not a Trump supporter, if you don't get it, maybe you'll have your come to Jesus moment. It probably won't be because of Mr. Robot, but something's going to get you. I hope it comes soon. God bless everybody. Angela out. Bye.